What made you choose the Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and just Virginia in general area? Because I'm now worried about serial killers in my backyard.
Oh, is that what you're...
Yes.
Okay, I will be honest if you want the absolute truth.
I'm sure you lied.
Okay. It was originally written in Texas. The original script was Huntsville, was the prison, and they were in Corpus Christi. Padre Island Drive is where, there's a lighthouse in Padre, and then when it came time to shoot it, we looked at Atlanta as because of their tax rebate. And we're like, then we looked at maybe going to North Carolina for the beach part of it, and it was just, the finances of it were such that Texas quickly went away. And then Kevin wanted to do it. He said only LA or New York. Those were like the options. He didn't want to be in Atlanta. So I didn't want to be in LA. Because I have an attitude about shows shot in LA, about what they look like. You don't have a lot of money, and there's a 25% tax rebate in New York that goes a long way. And so I chose New York, and just because I think it's more real. And so there we are. And if we're going to shoot in New York, it can't be Atlanta. So I changed it to Virginia because it's also near Quantico and DC, and if you watch the show as the story develops, we end up in those places, and we end up in New York, and we end up in. So there's going to be some, you'll see some of New York in it. We'll get out of Virginia. We'll get out of your neck of the woods.
I'm curious as the show develops. You would think the authorities would learn their lesson as far as Joe getting access to social media and whatnot. How is he still going to be able to...
He doesn't have access to anything. He's behind bars.
Yeah, but originally...
They learned that he did.
Snuck in.
Yes, and he put a big plan in motion, and he's going to watch that play out, and it'll be fun to sort of see how Joe, because they don't let him have any more access.
Yeah.
They lock him down.
So it's true.
And so that's not... they make a lot out of social media because he did use social media, and maybe that's still in play in another way, but not with Joe. They lock him up. They don't. They watch him 24/7. They're not going to let him go near a computer. So
the plot line seems really interesting. That there's perhaps a massive serial killer that he's kind of set off in motion. We understand that the storyline may have come from quite a while back. Mm-hmm. How did you come up with the concept? It seems really unique.
Well, I always sort of felt like one of my endings for Scream 3, or that I didn't do, was kind of that in the whodunit-all. I was playing the Agatha Christie of it all, which was, there was a scene where at the end of the script, my first version of Scream 3, which never saw the light of day, was that they all did it. They all did it. Like, it's like, did he do it? Did he do it? And Sidney Prescott had run through a house and killed everybody. And then there's this moment where they all rised up. And you're like, oh shit, they all did it. And there were like 5 killers. And they were all in it together. And that just didn't fly. Because I think it's after Columbine or something. So I said, what would happen if they all did it? And then when I was creating this show, I said, there needs to be a group of them. Remember Murder on the Orient Express?
Exactly.
They all went.
They all did it.
They all did it, which I loved.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
So that's kind of that based on my Agatha Christie. I read a lot of Agatha Christie. I went back and sort of re-engineered this, and there's more than one person involved. Mm-hmm. But one person started it off, and then I fell in love with the idea of cults. If you really look at cults in Jonestown and Waco, and I've always had a fascination with cults and so forth, and I had a big, I actually was trying to develop a show about a deprogramming cult, and so I've just always sort of been interested in that world, and I put it together.
In the pilot, we saw references to Telltale Heart and Raven. What further works can we expect to see weaved in?
Well, a few. He's not going to kill based. It's also the Romantic period. In addition to Poe, it's like that entire era of writing. Which the idea is he's a professor of literature, focusing on the Romantic literature. Yes, he's a poet. He personally loves Poe. That's his favorite because of Gothic Romanticism. But I think as we start to meet other people, we'll see what they adopted as their favorite part of the work of literature, what spoke to them the most, and maybe how they sort of, play out that piece. But Poe definitely is the first season. A lot of Poe, a lot of, you'll see a lot of there's a lot of things that happen where you go, oh, that's from blah.
Right.
That's from blah, you know. And there's a theme to it. Like, what is? It's not so much about the actions; it's about the theme. What was Poe saying when he wrote that story, and what was he saying in the story, and what was going on in Poe's life at that time when he wrote that story. So which is it? It's fun. You know, it's a little screwed up.
Given the subject matter, it's pretty dark.
It's a love story.
Dark is kind of in vogue right now. So, you know, the Vampire Diaries is also pretty kind of grisly if you look at the amount of blood. How far are you going to push the bounds for just, I guess, overall darkness and then maybe the
it's all
grisly
relative.
side?
Like, I look at Vampire Diaries, I don't see it. See it's bloody?
It's got I think for the CW, it's got a lot of blood. I would argue that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's fair. I never know. I'm that guy who's not really sure. I don't like it because I personally am not a bloody guy, and vampire violence also is supernatural violence versus this, which is very sort of real. It's almost too real. It's too grisly. It's too visceral. It's, you know, there's something sort of like the fact that it could really, this could really happen. You know, if you think it through. And I'm not really interested in seeing a lot of blood. You know, gore's not my thing. But I do like the intense horror of it. So you don't need to see a bloody body. I don't need to see someone carve out eyeballs. The fact that I know someone's out there carving out eyeballs scares me. It just scares me. And so it's the suspense of it. It's more about the psychological of it. It's like, oh my God, that guy entered my house with an ice pick. What's he going to do? I don't need to see it. I mean,
can you talk about how the show's going to transition from the pilot to episodic television? Because it seems to be very, very event-based in the pilot. And then
every episode, like a little movie. That's the goal. We're trying to do that's what I want. Like, you know, 24, the highlight of 24 for me was every week I felt like I was getting a little movie. And that's what's going to, that's the goal. It's serialized though, so it's going to have like that sort of, you know, what's going on that week, but at the same time it feeds into the bigger deal. The first season's all about that book that Joe Carroll's writing, you know, and how it's going to play out, and how Ryan Hardy can get in front of it at every step of the way. And we'll sort of meet all these new people, we'll also be able to, with the use of flashback, be able to tell the key moments in their lives and show what happened between Ryan Hardy and Claire, the wife, and sort of get to know them, and just sort of, there's a big dramatic element to it. And so, yeah, on a weekly basis, we'll sort of be able to let the relationships and the characters grow and evolve, and also show who they were and who they are today. And, you know, but it is going to be like that. I want it to be scary and breathless and suspenseful and exciting. I want it to be exciting and emotional. I want everyone to be emotional. I want people to watch it and go, oh my God.
well, the pilot definitely happened.
Oh, good. I mean, that's where we're going. So we just finished the second episode, and it kind of does the same thing. So I don't know how to answer that question. I keep saying it shouldn't be that, but at the same time, they're all turning out like that. So hopefully. Anyway, I'm excited.
Thank you very much.
All the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much.